Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Block Sauce, your weekly web show that serves up the juiciest discussions in the world of Web3 and gaming cultures. I'm your host and Arena T Ambassador, Jim Kieran. Today we've got an excellent panel lined up for you guys, so stick around. And as you can see, we have some new branding. So check out all of the new stuff that we have to offer, including this fantastic intro video. Welcome back, sauce enthusiasts. Oh, I'm having some camera problems. We called it. We called it. I told you guys I was going to have a better quality camera, and I screwed things up. Here we are. We're back in the show, and we have Ryus, Graslow, and Gaspode with us today. How are you guys all doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
I was about to say, nobody jump on it at once. I mean,
I had myself muted, but I'm doing great, man.
What about you, Gaspode?
Yeah, real good here. Yeah, real good here as well.
So for those that may not be familiar with our panelists, Ryus, we actually had on the show last week, and I completely spaced which project you're working on. So chill it, throw it out.
I was that memorable that he invited me back so that he could ask me a project that I'm doing. Because he straight up forgot. All right.
I know it's not a game. It's something else. It's the tech side.
We are helping gamers or game studios and developers. So I'm from Magic.
Right, Magic Links.
Yeah, Magic Links. So if you go magic.link, that's our website. So we're the leader in wallet as a service solution. We created over 25 million wallets, 30 plus chains. So from Polygon, Ethereum, EVM compatible to Aptos, So if you need, what our mantra is, our mission is for every users or everyone in the world to have their own Web3 wallet. Maybe in time we won't even call it Web3 wallet. We just call it a wallet, right? Digital wallet.
Maybe. But we also have Graslow with us from Oldor. I know Oldor's got some news going on. Go ahead, throw it out there, Graslow. Let's just get all the shilling out of the way. I mean, there's going to be more later, let's be honest. But for now.
Well, there's a lot of things I can't say. But yeah, we're definitely working hard on our next big update, which we're really excited about. And the only other thing I'll shill is we tweeted recently, my days are all running together, maybe yesterday.
It was yesterday.
A scavenger hunt that's upcoming, and we've done a scavenger hunt with Oldor before. They're really fun. This one is a little different. It's hosted by ETH Lizards, and there may be some other big projects involved. So if you look around Twitter, you might see some other big names that tweeted a similar kind of tweet. So really excited about that. More details to follow.
And of course, if you're not familiar with Gaspode, fantastic content creator in the space. Has a show every week, which, by the way, is not too long after we finish up here on the Block Sauce. So make sure you guys check that out. Just chilling. Go for it, Gaspode. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, content creator covering Web3 games, focusing on the gameplay, light touch on NFTs and tokens when they come up. Covered over 200 projects across Twitter Spaces, Spotify podcasts, streams, and YouTube. My internet is currently running at 1 megabyte, so I will just investigate why that is happening, but happy to be here.
Well, so far you're coming through good on my end, so, I mean, apparently 1 meg is enough for this. But that being said, we do have a few topics of the week. Some you've probably heard before. Hopefully some you have not. I try to find topics that not everybody is just beating a dead horse on, but unfortunately sometimes it's slow news week, so we got to work with what we have. I'm going to save what I believe is going to be the more popular topic for last, and we're going to actually kick this off with Yuga Labs launching Dookie Dash Unclogged. Oh my God. So we've actually talked about Yuga Labs here before. Oh, I think we just lost Gaspode. We will switch over real quick until we can get him back. Let me switch a few things around. But in my opinion, this is not that big of a deal. Now I gotta fix my camera again. Look at this. I'm breaking everything to make this work. Oh, there. Sorry guys, technical issues, especially when we have people swapping around. So, but I I saw the first Dookie Dash. I ragged on it. This is not a game. I know some people, they're hyping it up, they're promoting it, and if there's a lot of money involved, and of course a lot of rentals and trading, and the economic side obviously is doing well for them whenever these events occur. However, as a gamer, I'm not playing Dookie Dash. I'm sorry. Like, and somebody pointed this out. I think it was actually in Graslow's space yesterday. It's almost an identical ripoff of an old game. Old, and I don't know how old because I never heard of it until yesterday. What was it? Sewer Sharks?
Yeah, I think so. On the Sega CD, if I'm not mistaken, like way back.
Wow, Sega CD.
Yeah, like that's how old it is. Like I have a Sega Genesis, so I run off the CD, but I never actually played that. And we have Gaspode back, so now let me break everything to fix everything again.
Yeah, I'll jump in and just say it's very interesting. Like, you know, Yuga, I don't know that their audience is necessarily mainstream gamers, and so I don't think we should read too much into it. Like, I think a lot of the people playing Dookie Dash probably are not playing, you know, most of the like top AAA games that we're playing and judging it by. But that being said, like you do kind of wonder about the attention that they're focusing. I mean, yes, they're probably not spending a lot of money on this. I mean, Lord, I hope they're not spending a lot of money on this, but they are spending a lot of attention on this. And, you know, that is not necessarily an infinite resource. So you do have to kind of wonder about the long term and just, you know, does this hurt their brand long term? Is it something to just kind of sustain their momentum and community and keep some, you know, people talking about them while they're building their bigger, better things?
Before I go into a counterpoint, I want to see if Gaspode or Ryus has anything to add to this.
Yeah, I'm actually on the latter part. I think it is that their focus is partly the sole, I guess, approach of, hey, we're relevant, we're still here, and whoever has our NFTs can actually use them and do something with them. We told you we'll have utility. Here it is. I guess it's kind of utility like swords and utilities. I don't know.
I think without piling on, I've said the same thing every time, that we shouldn't cheer for this as the future of gaming, improvement on gameplay, because it's not it. Their other side video was an embarrassing release as well, because they did it at 10 frames per second, which is just, I don't know. And you'll see under both of them that people who you might see around the rest of the Web3 space going, this looks a bit odd, or this looks bad. And then if someone has an ape PFP, it's woo to the moon.
Yep.
And I don't think that's a problem, because I think what they do well, and whether Dookie Dash is a rip-off of a good game or not, the doo-doo wasn't intentional, but I dropped it in there.
I heard you.
What they do well is they do get that attention, and they do get more eyes onto them. And Dookie Dash having the massive prizes last time, having people come in and play who wouldn't have played Web3 games before. And yeah, they are only coming in to play for money. And yes, they're not going to switch from being pro Fortnite players to pro sewer players for the rest of their life. But for that short moment, they are getting attention, and they are, like you said, keeping the brand relevant. And I think from a gaming sort of purist point of view, we shouldn't give them any claps, because it's not that. But from a marketing and trying to keep in the mind share and bringing attention back to the project, I think it's quite good, especially off the back of the other side video being a flop. Like, that was terrible. They've now released Dookie Dash, which can actually be played, and they've just announced their Ape Gaming Council, which is people we know from the space in gaming. I don't know how much say they'll have, and I don't know what will actually change, whether it will just be kind of rip-offs of Silver Surfer to continue. But they're a marketing company. They're not a gaming company. So they're doing well at marketing by using a game.
Yeah. I think it's really taking that IP that they have. I'm sorry. Real quick. I think it's taking that IP that they have, which is already well known, and saying, hey, we're fashion. We're this, we're entertainment, we're media, and we're the I was gonna drop the S word, but so we're the bomb, I guess. I don't know. I'm good. Like, we're fleek. I don't know what you use now. We're Gucci. Yeah. So so you gotta come to us. You gotta check us out.
I'm gonna run the opposite direction of apparently everybody on this panel. So I don't believe in all marketing is good marketing. I don't care about Yuga Labs. I don't care about Dookie Dash. I don't care about heavy metal. Everything I've seen come from them as a gamer is absolute garbage. Like, it's just straight garbage. And you know what that has done to me as a consumer and gamer? Anything coming from Yuga Labs, I ignore at this point. I see somebody hyping up one of these games and they got an 8 PFP. Look, I love Squiddy to death, but I saw him talking about Dookie Dash and hyping it up today, and I was like, Squiddy, I love you, but this ain't it. I'm ignoring you. Like, your hype is lost on deaf ears at this point. And it's nothing against these people. I understand they want their project to succeed. They invested in it. I'm not saying they're necessarily protecting their bags because I know Squiddy and he's not that type of person. But at the same time, when the only people I see hyping it up are the ones already partaking in the ecosystem and everybody outside is like, this ain't it, chief, that's whenever it's not really beneficial. Like, yeah, they're coming back into the space and they're trying to stay relevant, but if they're constantly putting people off, they're constantly releasing these trashy trailers, like that Other Side trailer at 10 frames per second. I got into it with I think it was one of their marketing guys or something over there at Yuga, and he's like, oh, blame Elon Musk, they killed our quality. Bro, it kills your quality, not your frame rate. And I can attest to this because we're streaming in 60 FPS to Twitter right freaking now. So come at me and argue that point again. And somebody even told him, okay, well, if it works so good and it's so high quality, upload it to YouTube. Guess what has not hit YouTube yet? That trailer. Because they know that it was rendered at a very low frame rate and it looks bad, and they would have to redo the whole trailer and render it at a higher frame rate to re-upload it. It's you can try to remain relevant, but the way that they're going about it and releasing low quality products and low quality advertising materials is not it. You're going to steer more people away and put them off, and they will begin to ignore you. That's my personal take and experience. However, I also want to throw this point in there because Yuga has raised millions of dollars. We just saw Lethal Company released back in October, made by a single Roblox developer, single furry Roblox developer. I'm just going to throw that in there. He's a furry. And it has popped off, already sold over 5 million copies in like 4 months. There is not a Web3 game in this space that has raised millions that is competing with a game like that. And this dude is by himself with no VC funding. You cannot tell me Yuga cannot compete with these indie devs. They need to hire real talent, real developers, stop with this mobile game Fiverr bullshit and go build something worth my time. That's what I'm saying. Impress me, and then I will pay attention to your economy and your brand and all this marketing stuff. But right now, you have not impressed me. You have done the complete opposite of that, and I will never buy or ape in or play a Yuga product until I am impressed.
That's one of the challenges that some of these projects have is, they started as like PFPs or brands, and they have to keep that core to everything they build from then on. So if you're building for like AAA gamers, or you're building for like mainstream gamers who want like a AAA quality game with your, tens or hundreds of millions of dollars that you have in your treasury, you really can't like let your ape theme hold back like the development of your project. Because like you look at the Other Side stuff and it's all, ape imagery, which is great for their community, but their community is very small. And so you have to think about, like, are mainstream gamers going to, want to come and play this game? Like, is it going to be fun, or are you kind of sabotaging that? And, like games like Dookie Dash, we can't discount like the fun of community, like, a game that's not necessarily top quality can be really fun if you're playing with your friends. So I get that, like there's that appeal.
Well, that's why I used Lethal Company as an example. It is not top quality. It doesn't have ray tracing or AAA graphics. When you go into the game, there's not even a graphics setting in the options. Like, it is indie, and it is so fun. I have played it. It's the only game pretty much I'm playing outside of World of Warcraft right now, and it is a blast. And with user mods, it goes so much further than even the base game was intending. And to see somebody like this that does not have the backing that Yuga does build a game in less time with less resources, they don't have a full team, and it's absolutely popping off. Why can these companies that are raising millions in funding and have like full development teams not able to compete? And I think I got a comment. I'm going to go ahead and read this real quick. Maybe it's not their business model and I'm not the target audience. Look, if you're building games, gamers should be your target audience. If you're building gamify, then finance is going to be your target audience. They need to like solidify their identity, because it feels like they're trying to target gamers, but they're also trying to target finance at the same time. And it's not going to work, because you're only going to attract the finance crowd at the end of the day. Gamers just want to play fun games. So I think right now they're kind of having a brand identity crisis in the gaming element, and they don't know who they're trying to target exactly. They're trying to accommodate the community members. They're trying to accommodate the investors. They're trying to accommodate the gamers, and they're just spreading themselves too thin, and they're missing the mark everywhere except the finance side. Like I said, everybody that is involved wanting to earn or holding currently, they're the ones hyping this up. Normal gamers are not.
I think, just to add on to what Krasler was saying about holding yourself back by your current IP, I think it's a massive thing. Those 8 models, people are saying, rendered terrible, but, they've done the 8 models and they look good. They don't. They're terribly thin, sticky looking figures. They just don't look like anything of substance that you'd connect with in a game. And I think they've fallen into the trap of what we argue against a lot about interoperability, that people think interoperability is literally, I have an ape, it's an ape in this, it's an ape in that, it's an ape in that. They could have easily done it with apes in body armor so that they could use still human models. Because I don't know about you guys, but any game I've had where I'm playing a game which looks like it should be humanoid models, if they use an animal, it just doesn't quite feel right, because they haven't got the right thickness of a human body. No one seems to get animal joints right, because they're doing things that you've never seen an animal do. Like there's another game that uses monkeys as well, and them trying to get that to climb a ladder looks ridiculous, because they've got it carrying weapons and they're trying to get it to climb a ladder, but no one's seen a monkey carry a gun and climb a ladder. So there's nothing to work with in terms of the movement for the modeling. So I think stick your apes in armor because they're in space or something, and just use a standard human model, and then you widen your appeal. The apes know the apes in there. Maybe in the hangar they take the helmet off, it's their APFP, so you don't have to see that horrid skinny little body. But for everyone else, it is just a spacesuit.
I don't think the models are that bad, but I don't want to play as an ape. I really don't want to play as an ape. It's I don't know. I don't play as humans. I don't like to play as anything human-like typically. Like in World of Warcraft, I'm playing like this little furry fox dude. I got this dragon character. I've got this werewolf chick. Like I don't know. The humanoid trope is just boring to me in an RPG. I want to be unique. I don't want to role play the character I essentially role play in real life, right? So I vote give more options. And I agree with you, the monkey thing. I'm curious how many Yuga holders are actual genuine gamers, because that interoperability means nothing if 99% of the people that are holding your asset don't even play games anyway.
And the tech they're boasting is all about getting so many thousands of users on the same server. But if you're really sticking to like, okay, we just want these, ape holders to be playing, you don't have to worry about that. Just, have 20 or 30 people on a server, you're good.
Look, I know I've been ragging on Yuga this entire time, and I love to rag on Yuga, but there is one thing I will give them kudos for, and it is the tech side of things. When it comes to getting that many players in one place, I'm just saying, in World of Warcraft, unless you're in a major city, and even in a major city, you don't see a ton of people because they have layers. They have instance servers, right? So 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go into a non-populated server because it's going to balance and put me on the least populated to keep that server load going. Being able to have and see 1,000 players around me gives that MMO experience a whole new level of engagement. And we've only seen that, I believe, in one MMO so far, and that was Elder Scrolls Online. They came out with the mega servers or something that they called it. And they did have issues. So if Yuga can successfully accomplish this and manage to build a metaverse/MMO that is genuinely worth people's time, I think this tech will go a long way in supporting that vision. But I just don't see it yet.
and maybe that is their game plan. That's the roadmap to build
Very well could be.
Ape World or something like that, like eight for Ape Verse. I don't know what they would call it, but because we had
I think it's called Other Side.
Yeah, I stop. Yeah, but what I'm getting at real quick is I think the whole from what I know, you have to play. You get the full version of the game if you have an Other Dead NFT. That from what I heard, you have a portion of it you can play, but it's only a portion of the game, so you can experience it. So then that apes you to try to go and buy their NFT if you can afford it, right? Um, I'm still a big believer that you're right. Not all marketing is good marketing, but if they're not talking about you, then you're doing something wrong, right? Because we've been talking about this for the last 15 minutes, and it seems like they're getting a lot of clout, right? So I mean, there must be doing something right if we're talking about it, right? So they're top of mind. They're living in here rent free. I don't know. So they're doing it, and I'm really thinking that the fact is, I know some of the folks at Yuga, and what they're really trying to do is say, hey, we are like what the panel say, relevant. We're here. We're doing what we're doing. We are building just to show your money's not going, to the wayside, which in our opinion, because we're gamers, that we think it is. But at the end of the day, they're just trying to get more people, the Web2 crowd, to say, hey, there's something here. What is it? And I want to go and play a game that I can go around the sewer system and get myself all dirty,
I'm just saying, I'm in a lot of Web2 communities and nobody is talking about Yuga Labs. Nobody's talking about Dookie Dash. Nobody's talking about heavy metal. The only people that I see talking about these games, whether it be positive, negative, whatever, are either A, in the Web3 space already, or B, Yuga holders. And A already kind of covers B anyway. So
do you think that was a part of the community that said, hey, we should I know some of the panel members brought this up, but said, hey, let's build this game. I wonder if they actually took a survey and said, would you like a game that you can go around in the sewer and muck around,
I don't think that the actual premise was polled, but I'm willing to bet there was demand because the gaming sector was spinning up in Web3. Yuga was pretty much just brand and tech at that point, and people were like, look, this is popping off. Why don't you go explore over here? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, and I'm not faulting Yuga for trying to appeal to everybody. Like, I'm a people pleaser. I want everybody who watches our content, engages with my tweet. I want everybody to be happy, but the reality of it is you're not going to please everybody. And if they build something a bunch of other people like and I hate, I'm fine with that. Good on them. It's not going to be for me. That's fine. There's a lot of games that aren't for me. So I'm not faulting them for it. I'm just saying with the funding that they have and the quality of the products that they have released so far, there is a drastic misalignment, and seeing indie developers outperform Yuga in every facet of gaming is just mind-blowing to me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think they could do better is my point. Are what they're doing bad? No, we've definitely seen worse in this space, and we can definitely say they're not a scam or a rug, so that's good. But it's just, I don't like the quality that I've seen from a multi-million-dollar raise. That's my problem. So we got a couple of comments real quick. So Fruity Loops has requested that Gaspode turn off his deep fake eyes. It's cringe.
They shouldn't be on.
I was about to say, I don't think they are on.
You're talking about the AI version of him. You know what I mean? He's not even here.
Oh, hang on.
You're coming through
he
my
might be using recording camera. Hang on, let me switch cameras.
I was about to say, he might be using, I think I know what they're talking about. I have the same software, and it makes sure that your eyes are always focused on the camera. And it's good for recording certain content, but
I thought he was trying to be romantic and be intimate with the crowd. He was just like, hey.
We also got a comment from Rod. Yeah, it feels like Yuga is out of their element, trying to fit a square peg in a circle hole, I'm assuming, because that sentence feels cut off early. Gamers don't want games like that, but a certain niche does. And I agree. Like I said, if they build something that other people absolutely love and I just don't like it, that's acceptable. I don't like Starfield, but that doesn't mean Starfield didn't appeal to hundreds, if not thousands of other players. I mean, people love Bethesda. I don't. It's not a Web3 thing. That's just the gaming thing. So I don't know. we'll see how they do. I still have no interest in Dookie Dash. I have no interest in heavy metal. And if people want to support that, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying it's not for me. Especially at that price point. I'm sorry, I can't afford an 8. Oh boy, I am poor compared to Web3 anyway. So we'll go ahead and move into the next topic. We spent plenty of time talking about Yuga. Hytopia moving from Polygon to Arbitrum. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of games moving away from Polygon. I can kind of see this trend. I'm going to give my personal experience. This is not saying that this is a fact. This is not saying that this is, 100% cemented. You're going to screw yourself if you build on Polygon. But my experience as a user on Polygon has probably been the third worst experience in Web3. Bridging, trying to get tokens onto Polygon, like unless I do a direct purchase through something like MoonPay or something like that, that'll automatically go to the Polygon network. It's just a nightmare to use. The other day I went to transfer some Ethereum and it took like 35 minutes to transfer, and I can go do that on the actual Ethereum chain in like 10 minutes. So I don't know. Something about Polygon feels like it is falling kind of behind, and they're not keeping up. They're not scaling properly. And I can see more and more games doing this because the justification, as far as I read for this move, was faster transaction speeds. Go figure. Every game needs faster transaction speeds. You can't be waiting 30 minutes to an hour to receive the item that you paid for when it comes to gaming. People want it like now. So I hope this was beneficial to Hytopia. I don't know much about the game other than it does look like Minecraft and it's kind of got the same vibes. So I don't know. But what's your guys' thoughts on the whole thing? Like, have you kind of noticed the same trend or any experience with Polygon?
I've seen a couple of people saying they've had trouble with Polygon, and I don't know what you guys are doing wrong, because I've literally never had any problems whatsoever. Being one of the easiest, cheapest chains I've ever used. No fails.
Cheapest? It took me $40 to do a bridge the other day. I spent almost as much on...
Which side was the gas for that bridge, though? That gas will have been Ethereum point. Side.
That's
your Poly side will have been 5 cents max. I don't do all mine bridging anyway. I send to an exchange and switch out on an exchange and then go back in, and it's a lot cheaper and
I didn't think about that.
By the sounds of it, if it's taken you an hour. However, I do think that we will see more moves to gaming chains, because Polygon is Polygon. It's huge. It's got loads of stuff on it. Some of it's not great, some of it's terrible, some of it's good, but it's quite a fractured kind of community. Whereas the ones that you're seeing people move from Polygon to, they're putting a huge drive into gaming. So if in terms of, it might not be, there is some tech like the one you're mentioning is definitely quicker, and that was exactly what they were building for, going really quickly and gaming focused. So going there, you are now hitting a community which is gaming focused. They might be terrible at bridging like you and already have money there, so they're more likely to use those games in there. I still think Polygon will stay around just because of sheer scale. I think we're seeing more games actually go back to Ethereum, which is really annoying, but they're doing it slightly better, that the main collection, which isn't anything to do with the game, is on Ethereum, and then game transactions happen on a separate chain, and then that way they get to tap into liquidity on Ethereum for their main collection, but they're not making you pay $30 every time you want to do something in game. And I think we'll see a bit of that, but we will see people moving to these other chains. My only comment is, and I've said this before, as much as we love decentralization, I want convenience, so I prefer everything is in one place. It would make my life so much easier.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like moving parts here. If you look back a year or two ago when a lot of these games started building, Polygon was like the chain. I mean, it was one of the top few to choose, and they were, throwing around grants. They were definitely supporting gaming projects. Not to say that they're not doing that today, but they recognize, like I think Sandeep said publicly that they fall in a way. They're no longer like one of the top 2 or 3 chains, and they need to play catch up. They're the underdog now, and so it's good that they kind of recognize that, and they're going to try to really innovate. We've seen ZKVM and some other things, but since the last couple of years, we've seen Arbitrum and and Avalanche and a number of other techs, come out, offer a completely new or cheaper, faster kind of way to do things, their own pluses and minuses, and a lot of studios see more more benefits to those new solutions. And frankly, like some of the grants have kind of run out. If you had an exclusive deal that had a 1 or 2 year term, and that's kind of run out, and you maybe are still building or you haven't reached that user base yet, or you had some problems with your chain, you kind of go and look at other solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was waiting for it.
So for me, I totally agree with my panelists here. The move from Polygon to Arbitrum is you're absolutely right. The faster transaction, better performance. I mean, if you think about it, Polygon is really meant for enterprise, right? When they started, right, they have the Starbucks, they have all these enterprise company, Visa, MasterCard. Those are the kind of stuff that they're really focused on. Gaming is there. I mean, that's why they partnered with Immutable, right? It's best of both worlds. You have Immutable that's strong in gaming. That's the blockchain for it that a lot of gamings go to. And you have Polygon that's everything else. So now we got to come into a place where a lot of people are saying, okay, well, that was good then, and going into now the future, well, there's just so much other chains out there, right? And I think with Hytopia, they're kind of like, I mean, to me, I see them more like a like Decentraland kind of thing, like a sandbox, but on top of doing it on Arbitrum. So my point here is, gas fees. I mean, Arbitrum, this is the reason why Proof of Play, because, seeing what they did, they transitioned from Polygon to Arbitrum, because there was one point, and again, please somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they were paying $700,000 a month on Polygon gas. So they transitioned to Arbitrum because they're like, there's no way. I mean, $700,000 a month. What can you do with $700,000 a month? I mean, come on, you can give it to Yuga so you can build a better game, right? So, hey, that's
Interesting that you mentioned the Polygon Immutable partnership, because Immutable was my second worst experience in Web3. So I'm just throwing it out there. Like trying to use Immutable, I was like, how do I send? I even asked Gaspode, because I was trying to give him an NFT on Immutable, and I'm like, Gaspode, how do I send you an NFT? Because I was using the official marketplace, and there's no freaking transfer option. You couldn't trade it. You could only sell it. And I'm like, the hell is this? So I asked him. He didn't know how to trade. So I asked on Twitter, and nobody else knew how to trade. And I'm like, does anybody know how to use this freaking chain? I still to this day have not been able to trade an Immutable NFT. And this was like, what, Gaspode, 2 years ago? Check your Discord messages.
we might
oh my God.
Next show, we might have to invite some Immutable folks and be like, hey, can you teach us how? Walk us through.
Well, I found out apparently you have to go to not just a second website, but there's also a third website. So you've got like one market where you can buy and sell. You got another market where you can buy, sell, and trade. Then you got a different market where you can just look at them. And I'm like, I can look at it in my wallet. Why would I? What is your website doing? I don't know. Immutable needs to figure their stuff out. I heard that the passport was supposed to alleviate some issues, but I haven't seen that yet. I don't have a ton of experience with it though. So, but
as a hashtag immutable hero, IMX heroes, I did find out how to do it, and you had to use Rarible. Was how I did it, because I did a giveaway for some of the WAGME cards that Scott gave me. I was like, I'll share this back with the community. And then I didn't know how to. I was like, hey Scott, you're gonna have to help me out, because someone's won it, and I don't know how to get it to him. But I've solved that now. I am looking forward to them doing some more changes. To be honest, I think they've been quite open with the kind of difficulties. For example, I've got IMX on their chain, and you've got to wait for it to roll back up to layer 1 before you can take it anywhere, and that can take up to 24 hours. So I've done it now. I don't need the money now, but I thought I'd best start that clock running just in case I do need it anywhere. But in terms of the proof of play, going back to Pyro Nation, I heard that when they did an AMA about it, and I think it's key for games that are trying to push forward in that kind of on-chain space and eat the gas fees themselves. Like, it's not great putting it on there. Like, if you're charging your users 700,000, it's not great. Like, don't get me wrong. But if you, as a company, are the ones eating that because you want to make the experience better, you can't have it that expensive. Like, you're just losing money. It's a hole in your bucket completely, especially when they're still not even really open. Like, you get in with an NFT, you get in if you've got a friend's code. Like, they're doing well and they've raised loads of money, you know. I'll take some, you know, if you're listening. But they can't just keep leaking money while they're still testing. And so I think we'll see a lot more on-chain games move to it. I think for the genres where it's diet Web3, they're using it a little bit. You have an avatar, that's kind of the gated experience. And then after that, you don't need transaction. I don't think it will matter as much for them. I think they'll go where the bigger communities are. But I think for ones where you're expecting loads of transactions, you're daft if you're just leaking money by being on the wrong chain.
Well, I will give them this. They're not the number one worst experience I've had in Web3. They're not Wax, okay?
Yes. Yeah. Wax is terrible.
Wax, look, the fact I have to figure out how to stake before I can even use my wallet, because you have to stake to even have a wallet, essentially, that's ridiculous. And the more you buy, the more you have to stake or your wallet won't hold it. What? What kind of nonsense is that? No.
And I would kick Cardano as well here, but I'm not going to, because I'm always kicking them. And the fact that they chose to use computing language for it. So it's got CPU, it's got RAM in your wallet. I think it's got hard drive in your wallet. And I was really new to the space, and I was like, it goes, oh, you have RAM. And I was like, well, it definitely can't mean my computer, because that would be wild. How does my RAM on the computer play into it? But you couldn't Google it to find out, because it was just bringing back computer RAM. And I was like, yeah, don't know what's happening here. And it was only someone who told me. Like, I couldn't find the answer on myself. I needed help. It's such a weird naming convention.
It was, I don't know when you jumped into it, but whenever I jumped into it, there were at least some YouTube videos available, but the YouTube videos were like 6 months out of date and all the steps didn't apply. So I still ended up having to figure it out myself. But yeah, I don't know. Like, definitely games need to be more wary about which chains they're picking, because you need to make sure that they're going to suit your needs while also accommodating consumer needs, because you are a business, but you also have consumers that you kind of have to pay attention to. And if they can't even figure out how to use the wallet or buy the NFT, you're already going to have an uphill battle to face right out the gate.
Yeah, crypto is super engineer heavy and DeFi heavy. And so a lot of the experiences are really like, you know, overly technical for the end user and really about earning and staking. And those are things that don't necessarily translate to, you know, mainstream consumers that we want to attract. And so, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of evolution of all the chains as we start to get that mass adoption.
Yeah, and to add to that real quick, I mean, wallets, this is what we do, right, at Magic, and I'm not trying to shill. What I'm just trying to educate. Maybe that's a better thing. Well, what I'm getting at is, if you really think about it, right, like all that jargon, all those technical words, and we've heard this all the time because they're in this space, and I know the audience is probably sick of hearing us say this over and over again. Man, that sucks. I don't want to ever go and play a game and they'll be like, let me give you a tutorial, and it's like a PhD. It'll take like a college student or even somebody that has a higher intellect than I do to actually play the game. Holy crap! I just want to play my freaking game. I think in the last show I was like, I got 5 minutes. I ate my lunch. I'm about ready to go back to work. I'm like, I don't want to go back to work, but give me some like enthusiasm so when I go back to work. You know what I mean? So I want to play my game, not like, oh crap, I got to go through this whole thing. CPU, RAM, in my wallet, that's my computer. That's not my wallet. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is what the beauty of Magic is. You have a wallet, you're able to use it, 30 plus chains, you do your thing. And we don't tell you all that. Sign in with your Google, sign in with your Apple, sign in with your email. I mean, it's easy, man. And the user experience has to be top of mind. Gameplay, great game, bing. User experience, bing, you know what I mean? Those are like maybe like table stakes, you know what I mean? Oh, security, bing. So that if I'm like, hey man, I got my NFTs, my tokens, all my good stuff in my wallet, yo, I can show it to everyone. All of a sudden next day, yo, I'm showing it to everyone, it's gone. Security. You know what I mean? So those three, man, if you have all those, you're good to go.
I agree. And we're going to shift over to the next topic. I'm going to drop the negative Nancy for a little bit, because I think this is a bit more of a good thing for the space. Nyan Heroes, which I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with, is launching a play to airdrop campaign. So simply holding their assets is not enough to grant you the airdrop. You actually have to play the game and meet certain requirements to be eligible. And of course, to play the game, you have to be a holder. So this is encouraging all of their community and holders to actually engage with the product versus just farming airdrops. I think it's fantastic. I saw gameplay for Nan Heroes. It actually looks like a potentially sick game. I kind of wanted to get into it, but unfortunately, I looked at the floor price and I wasn't about to spend like $200 to $300 to get into the game. I'm sorry. It does look cool, and I do want to play it, but not for that price. So I am not a holder. I'm not shilling my bags or anything like that, but it does actually look cool. You can look up the gameplay trailer on their Twitter. And like I said, I think this play to airdrop campaign should probably be the new meta. Stop just letting flippers hold your assets and profit off of your work.
Yeah, I've seen some on the timeline like compare play to airdrop to play to earn, and like what is the difference there? You know, you're playing, you're earning something. I mean, yeah, I get it, but I do think that while that may fundamentally be a similar thing, we've learned a lot, and I mean, I think we as the space have learned a lot. We're no longer incentivizing just earning and giving you an instant token that you can go and dump. And so it's a lot more investment from the gamer side. Like they're investing their time into gameplay, and the game is being able to incentivize the things that they really want, which is like more users, obviously, but also they can incentivize deeper gameplay where you reach certain milestones where you're kind of hooked on the game. You actually get the mechanics. So yeah, I love play to airdrop. I think that it makes a lot of sense. I hope that it's not overused and done in a bad way that it kind of ends up burning the meta. But I do think that it's better than things we've seen so far.
I think just to touch on what you said, I've seen on Gaspod's timeline that he's done a couple of pieces calling play to airdrop, play to earn in a mustache. And I'm trying to say it enough times that it catches on. But I do think it has more chance than play to earn. I don't think it's any different. I think it's play to earn with a time delay. I think it struggles from the same risks. But I don't think it's the change in mechanics in terms of there's a delay to when you get your tokens. That is the reason that it's going to potentially last longer than play to earn. I think it is just the learnings that people have picked up from play to earn. The riskiest bit about play to airdrop is if they're dropping all the tokens at the same time or the same assets at the same time, that your sell pressure is all at one point. There will be people who are only playing for that reward and they'll all dump at the same point. A very big sell pressure coming up. The potential reasons it's not as bad is that time delay gives the team enough time to understand how many people have got it. So if there's no set formula, you play for 6 hours, you get $6 worth of tokens, then it's a much easier thing for them to handle. This is something we saw really early on in play to earn by EVIO. They had it that you earn their in-game token, and it's when you then went to convert from in-game token to Sol, it had a weighted formula which depended on how many points everyone had earned in that period and how big they'd managed to make that rewards pool from Web 2 kind of revenue streams, whether there was the subscriptions or the ads. And by doing it in a play to airdrop way, the team does have more control around literally how much money they're going to go out. I think they need to be careful that they don't become play to earn because they're always doing an airdrop. Airdrop should just be a user acquisition thing early on for the games that we're seeing now. You'll lose some people when you stop the rewards because they were only there for the rewards. But because they've had to do, like you say, Graslow, interact with the game, it's on you now to make your game sticky. Make sure you've got those retention metrics in there. And that what you've done with the play to airdrop is you've just got people to experience it enough that they're going to stay there. So it is slightly different. It has the same risks, but I do think people have learned enough to hopefully do it better. And some people will do it to death. No doubt about it. Some people are going to grind their game into the floor with excitement over play to airdrop. So just because you like a play to airdrop in one game, don't think you're going to get rich on all of them. Some of them will kill themselves trying to be relevant with a play to airdrop.
Here's my thing. I don't think play to airdrop and play to earn are the same. And the reason is airdrops are going to happen regardless. Encouraging players to actually play the game and engage the product to get that airdrop is just straight benefit, in my opinion. I see no downsides, because either way, they're going to be airdropping these, and pushing people to the product, I think, is a good way to go. Whereas play to earn is a constant. That is pretty much the focus of the game. So with play to airdrop, the game may actually be focused on gameplay, competitive elements, tournaments, events, whatever. And like you said, that means maybe once a month they do a play to airdrop campaign, right? But if they turn it into a weekly thing, then yes, that's whenever I'm like, okay, well, this is play to earn. The only reason I'm showing up every week is going to be for these airdrops. So how it's implemented, I think, is important, but I can't see a negative downside to this whatsoever, just because of the current airdrop process already just rewards people without even having to engage into the product. So pushing them that direction is just, there's no downside, in my opinion.
Could it just be a semantics kind of thing where they're just, it's the same thing, but they're just making it like they're spinning it like another way, like, you know, a janitor, which is, hey, all powers to the janitor, props for you. You're keeping us, everything, our facilities nice and clean. I respect that. But maybe they say janitorial engineer, or like, you know, like, I don't know, environmental.
No, I don't think it's semantics though, because like I said, play to earn, that is typically the focus of the game. So every single day, every moment that I log in, I am going to be earning. With the play to airdrop, there's only a window where I get to earn.
Especially.
And if I keep playing outside that window, that means I'm not playing for the airdrop. I'm playing because the game was fun. They pulled me in with the airdrop, but I stuck around for the game. See what I'm saying? And there is a comment about that from Fruity Loops. They said, if they get it right, it's a great way, great play to incentivize the intangible quality of being a holder. He would give it a go. If the game doesn't manage to convert most of the airdrop receivers, though, the benefits will be lower. And that's kind of what I'm getting. At least you have a chance to convert versus just airdropping to people who will never even touch the product. So
I think the risk that's in there is the play to earn was just staking with extra steps. Play to airdrop is just airdrop with extra steps. True. It's not a bad thing because you're getting the users into the game. I think my risk, because we're all, if we were doing play to airdrop, we'd all be on one side of the equation as owners doing it because we fancy doing it. Mm-hmm. There is definitely people already grinding for other people for airdrops. And my bigger risk with airdrops compared to earn is that those people have no idea what their time's worth with what they're grinding right now. We've seen a lot of, I'm not going to say, I'm trying to think of a polite way of saying it, ambitious estimates of how much airdrops are going to be worth to people. And if you're using that as an incentive for someone to play the game for you, so you get that airdrops, I think there's a bigger risk for the people who were in the scholar model previously, because at least before they had a better idea of how much they were giving their time up for. Whereas now, if I've got to grind for 2 weeks for an airdrop, 4 weeks for an airdrop, which is undecided how much that's going to be, it already felt a little bit predatory to start with, but if you're selling them on the dream of this token's going to be $5 and it comes out at 20 cents and they've spent 4 weeks like grinding for you, I think that there's a risk in there. And I think it depends on who you are in the population where that risk sits. Personally, don't trust anyone who tells you how much a token's going to be in 4 weeks. They don't know. They do not know.
Well, I mean, we got Fruity Loops bringing up Nifty Island, who is also doing a play to airdrop. So like I said, I think that this is a good thing as long as they're getting holders engaged and they're just not handing out free money to people who don't even care about the product. They're just looking for profits. This is a net win for me. I can't take the negatives and be like, yeah, this is a bad thing, because I do see them. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying even with the negatives in place, this is still a net positive.
Just to clarify, because I'm probably going to start talking about one soon because I've started playing one. I do think it's game specific. And I think what Graslow said at the very beginning, that some of them will do it well. Yes. So,
well, all I know
when I start talking about it.
All I know is I saw the trailer and I immediately was interested in Yen Heroes. I'd never heard of the game before this play to airdrop campaign. So at least from a marketing standpoint, they got my eyes on it. Hey, if anybody from Yen Heroes is watching this, I just want to play the game. I don't care about the airdrop campaign. If you can just give me free access and disqualify me from airdrops, I'd be cool with that. Just let me, convert me.
And real quick, you remember what we talked about with Yuga and apes, right? And you're putting him in like a body armor suit. It's kind of like this, but it's kitties or it's cats in a mech suit, right? So hey, that's pretty cool, right? They actually they heard us before we even did the show. They're like, wow, these guys are smart.
All right. I wish I could end the space on a high, or the show on a high note. However, our final topic, GameStop is shutting down their marketplace. Who would have guessed? Who saw this coming?
Well,
I'm sorry. I looked at the marketplace once. I didn't recognize a single collection. As far as I could tell, the collections that were on there didn't even have a game available. I never looked at it again. So I kind of saw this coming.
Real quick, because I apologize for everyone. Maybe I didn't tell everybody. I'm going to actually have a hard stop in the next 2 minutes, but I want to let you guys know that I was there when the marketplace launched, because Immutable, me being I was in Immutable, and part of their success team, making sure that games that are on Immutable were successful and did their thing. Like some of the games are on there, like Immortal Games, WAGME, Planet Quest, all them. I had purview to them. So yes, don't crucify me or anything like that. But when we launched, the intention was with them is because they're the name. GameStop. Everybody knows GameStop. You go to their place, you can play, sit there and talk with people, read the magazines that that they have that makes you a better game player. That was great. So the point was to really get a place, getting the GameStop name with the games that Immutable was coming out with. So that was the hope. And then, of course, the liquidity with all the different marketplaces that Immutable had, right? And GameStop was one of the biggest with the most gamers ever worldwide. So that was the goal. But you're absolutely right. When all these marketplaces started showing up, the Rareables of the world, the Magic Eden and all these other guys, they were just like, oh my God, this is what is going on. This is so much better than GameStop, right? You're supposed to be the marketplace for gamers. And what's happening right now? There's no games. and that I think that's the demise. The demise, maybe they were too early, and then they got rid of everyone. They got rid of all their wallet folks. They got rid of the Web3 division, pretty much just like, who's going to support this? So if you have a marketplace that's supposed to be for gamers and that's supposed to be for NFT, for Web3 audiences, but you have no folks that are supporting it, where are you going to go? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
It's going to go down.
Well,
yeah. I just wanted to say, I think Wall Street Bets and the other, degens of Wall Street gave GameStop a lot of money that gave them an opportunity to kind of do something different. The old model of stores and everything, I think that's dying. We all know that that's dying. Digital is the future. NFTs and Web3 gaming is a great opportunity. So I do think that it was noble for GameStop to get in. I do think they probably were early. The main problem, there weren't games. We didn't have quality games. We didn't have something to onboard mass consumers. And so the NFT market continues to be mostly art and speculation, not, game assets that are being used in games today. So yeah, I just think they were early. I hate that they are not, going to stick it through.
And I think, so I was similar to Jim Kieran. I heard about them a little bit because one of their guys was flouting around on Spaces. Undeadblocks then said they were going to do something with it. I didn't want any more Undeadblock assets, and then I never looked at it. And I still don't know if it was. I thought it was just an American-only marketplace, so I don't even know if that's true or not. But that was something I thought, so I never bothered looking. But I don't know if that's their fault. I don't go to different marketplaces. I still don't even really use Blur, except for one collection, which isn't allowed on OpenSea. Oh, but Blur's so much better. Who cares? I saw OpenSea first. I cannot be bothered to change. So, they do horrible stuff like OpenSea, and I won't change because I'm lazy. I like convenience.
There's no perfect marketplace. I just buy wherever I can get my asset the cheapest. I will say, however, though, I have not touched Blur once. So,
but
anyway,
yeah, they're gone. I don't think they're missed. I'm not bothered one way or the other. My day was no different when they disappeared. So
I would agree. Does anybody have anything else to add before we wrap it up? I know Ryu's got to go right now or 3 minutes ago.
I told the people, I'm like, y'all gotta wait. This is important. I'm like, yo, this is important. Y'all gotta wait.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys again for joining us. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your week to show up and, participate in these discussions. I know we don't always agree, but that's why I like these conversations. It gives developers different perspectives, because obviously we got Ryus, who's working on they're working on Magic Links, which works with games, but it's not a game itself. We got Graslow, who actually is building a game. And then you got people like myself and Gaspode, who are gamers / content creators. That's just our big thing is games. So these can give a lot of different insights to people within the industry. And I appreciate your takes and all the time that you spent with us. But of course, we couldn't have done it without all of our amazing viewers and supporters. Your engagement drives our passion to bring you the hottest topics and thought-provoking alpha week after week. Remember that the sauce never stops flowing. Stay connected with us on socials. Again, guys, we do have a website, so make sure you guys check out the website. I didn't change the font for the new branding. That's my bad. We didn't catch that one, but whatever. You see the website, go get it. Go check it out. As you can see, we got all kinds of new stuff. So that being said, that's going to be a wrap for us today, folks. Thank you again, and join us next week for another episode of The Block Sauce, where we'll keep the gaming flame alive and the discussion sizzling. Stay saucy and keep gaming in the exciting realm of Web3. Have a good one.